Morning everybody, buenos dias, happy Saturday, happy May 2nd, happy day 122 of the year. How are you feeling this morning? Hopefully you woke up well rested and looking forward to the weekend. If you didn't wake up super well rested and your sleep was a little disturbed last night, don't forget that it's a full moon right now. We are in a full moon under the sign of Scorpio, and if you're anything like me, I have trouble sleeping around full moons. There's just something about the energy when the moon is full in the night sky. The natural world is always a little bit more awake. Things feel a little bit more nocturnal than usual. So my sleep cycle does get disturbed around full moons, and I notice that during the days I feel a little more sluggish if I haven't had a good night of sleep. So if you're like that as well, just pay attention to the moon cycle and notice how you feel in your body, and notice how your sleep cycle is affected by the cycle of the moon. Never forget that as humans, we're part of nature. We follow the cycles of nature, and the moon is a really big one and a really good one to track in your journal. If that's not already part of your practice, I really recommend that you do that. So as I said, we're on day 122 of the year, and according to 365 Tao by Deng Ming Tao, day 122, our word is validity. So grab your book, grab your journal and something to write with. Find a nice, quiet and comfy place where you're not going to be disturbed for the next 15 minutes or so. Remember that 15 minutes is just 1% of your day. So let's commit this 1% of our day to reading, writing in our journals, and let's see what Deng Ming Tao has to say for us about the subject of validity. A river new, ancient words unneeded, see, touch, rushing beauty, drink, crystal flow. When we stand on the banks of a river, we must realize that it is constantly new. Although we might say that it was running long before we were born, its exact configuration, the particular currents, the way it flows around rocks, the shape of its banks, the paths of fish in its depths, is subtly unique at any given moment. To know the river, we only need to experience it directly, to touch it, to swim it, to contemplate it, to drink it. The same is true of Tao. Tao is ever flowing. Although it was present since the beginning of time, and though many have experienced it, it is here for us to explore today. Touch it, swim it, contemplate it, drink it. If you have ever touched Tao, you should harbour no doubt about it, and nor should you wonder that you need scripture to confirm it. So that's a beautiful metaphor for the fluidity of the Tao, the fluidity of life, how everything is constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly flowing, constantly in a cycle. One cycle ends, another one starts, a constant continuing moving cycle. And a beautiful metaphor for that is, in general in Taoism, they reference water a lot, bodies of water that are constantly moving. But this beautiful first paragraph is all about a river. So if you've ever been out in nature, you've been on a hike, on a walk, perhaps you have a nice river or a stream close to where you live, and you stood by it and you listen to the sound, you can feel the energy of the water moving, and even though it looks like the same body of water, it's never ever going to be the same because it's constantly in a cycle. So next time you're by a river, maybe take a few moments to just sit and think about that. Watch the water going by. Watch the water flowing by, watch it constantly turn, and just think about that metaphor. It's, the yin and the yang is another great visual to think about. It's constantly in a cycle, it's constantly turning, it's constantly moving, just like a river, just like everything else in life. And as we kind of started out, nature is our best teacher for these kind of things. The natural world constantly moves in cycles. And as humans, we're part of the natural world, so we are moving in cycles as well. You've got the moon cycle that we were just talking about, you've got the cycles of a river constantly moving, you've got the cycle of yin and yang, the cycle of night and day. Everything in life is a cycle. So I wish you a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Thank you so much for being here for 122 days, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Bye.